So, welcome to a long delayed music trivia video on Patreon. This is Tim in Tokyo.
This is Paul in Hanover, New Hampshire, but what is this thing you were calling music trivia? It's been so long, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been close to a year since the last music trivia.
Hmm.
Apparently, looking at the dates in my notes here, music trivia number six was the last time this file was saved, April 21st, 2024.
Wow.
A few weeks later, we did a TV trivia, and yeah, we did this one. TV Trivia 25.
Right.
Hmm.
Would that
So yeah,
would that have been the Casey Kasem one that I put together, or maybe that was even longer ago?
ooh, well, I don't know.
Doesn't
I
matter.
wouldn't
Doesn't
have
matter.
those notes anyway. So this time, I I've put together trivia questions around one certain album. Um, and it's Well, I don't know. I guess I listened to it recently, and then I was looking at Wikipedia, and I thought, I could do something with this.
Okay.
And the album is 1983's 90125 by Yes.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Beverly Hills 90210. I
I
mean,
would never get them confused.
I've never even watched that show, but I've heard it mentioned enough that now I kind of stumble over it because the one and the two are switched, and I want to say Yes is 90210. Like, no, 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 that's not right.
Where they can feel no sense of pleasure or measure, is it? No illusions as we take refuge in our life's pleasures.
So I think you're
Man,
going to
man, we
know
love
the
that song.
answers.
I love that song in high school. We talked about it all the time. We love the a cappella version too, my friends and me in band.
Hmm. I think you're going to know the answers to some of these, or at least you knew the answers 40 years ago, I think. So let's see what you remember.
Okay.
All right. So let's start back in 1981.
Hmm.
Yes had broken up following the tour to promote their LP Drama. Trevor Horn, formerly of the Buggles, had replaced John Anderson as vocalist the year before. In 81, he was still a
Was he their manager at the time? I know he is a record
mm,
producer too.
well, that comes a little later.
Okay.
So he was still the vocalist in 81.
The,
Keyboardist Jeff Downs,
I see. When you said that he replaced John
John
Anderson,
Anderson.
I thought you meant that he had like switched him out with somebody else as a kind of puppet master of the band, but you're saying that he
No,
actually
he
became the lead
himself.
singer. Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, Trevor Horn was singing lead, I believe,
Interesting.
on the Drama album.
Okay.
Uh, Keyboardist Jeff Downs, who had taken the place of Rick Wakeman on the Drama LP,
Uh-huh.
and was also formerly of the Buggles, uh, and Yes guitarist Steve Howe went off to form the group Asia. Uh, bassist
One of the most pretentious supergroups ever created.
bassist Chris Squire and drummer Alan White got hooked up with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant and discussed forming a supergroup. What was their group to be called? Do you remember this? I remember hearing about it on KRNA from Iowa City at the time.
Gosh, no, I don't remember this at all. You'd think I would have since I was, such a Led Zeppelin nut in high school.
Okay, so what was the group to be called? We got choices.
Okay.
A, YYZ, B, XYZ, C, OU812, or D, YKK.
Go through them one more time. I know it's not OU812, so you can skip that one.
Okay, yeah, of course, that's a Van Halen album.
Right.
YYZ,
That's
XYZ, or YKK?
YKK.
No, That's a
XYZ.
Japanese company that makes zippers, among other things.
Okay, so it's XYZ.
Right.
It couldn't be
Uh,
YYZ because that's the name of the, or it probably wouldn't be YYZ because that's a track on Rush's Moving Pictures.
right. Well, do you know? Okay, side trivia. What do those initials really signify? Why did they call the song YYZ?
That I don't know.
It's the airport code for Toronto.
Figures it's
Hmm.
some Canadian thing.
Yeah, well, and the rhythm at the beginning is imitating YYZ in like Morse code or something. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah,
Dun,
exactly.
dun, 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 dun. Speaking of music trivia, I'm just gonna do this for a while.
So, but XYZ, as I recall hearing on KRNA, stood for a cross between Yes and Zeppelin.
Oh, hmm. It also means
uh,
zip up your pants, Robert Plant.
Wikipedia says the project broke down because of management differences and because Robert Plant didn't like the material Squire and White had written.
Oh, hmm.
Squire and White were joined by South African guitarist Trevor Rabin and original Yes keyboardist Tony Kaye to form a band called Cinema.
Hmm.
Horn was to be their vocalist at first, but rehearsals didn't go well, and he decided to produce the record instead. Uh, Tony Kaye bailed temporarily, and Rabin took over keyboards. Squire and Rabin were also not getting a distinctive enough vocal performance, so Carson suggested inviting John Anderson back, so he returned.
Hmm.
The material they were working on for Cinema included Owner of a Lonely Heart, Hold On, and Changes. They had named their band Cinema in order to distance themselves from Yes, but when they were introduced on MTV, legal challenges arose from other bands called Cinema. So they stuck with Yes and released 90125 under that name.
Even though it
Where,
wasn't really yes anymore, exactly.
well, yeah, some of the same members, but
Hmm.
where did the album title 90125 come from? A hotel room number, B, a locker combination, C, the album's catalog number, or D, a library card number.
Catalog number?
That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Originally, it was going to be called 90124, but in some parts of the world, Atco Records 90214 was already assigned. So they changed it to ensure that it would have the same catalog number worldwide.
Clever.
Owner of a Lonely Heart was written by Trevor Rabin in 1979
Hmm.
while he sat on the toilet. Uh, this puts it in the same lofty company as the George Benson hit Turn Your Love Around, which came to writer Jay Graydon while he was on the can. Watch this space for the trivia video, hits written on the crapper. No, not really.
With video,
No, thank you.
secretly recorded video.
Rabin already had 3 solo albums to his name and was recording demos for a fourth. One exec he shopped it to was Clive Davis at Arista, who thought Rabin's songs were, quote, too strange and would not be a hit. He also suggested a band that Rabin should try to emulate in his songwriting. What band did he suggest? A. Loverboy, B. Foreigner, C. REO Speedwagon, D. Styx.
Ollie. Um, Sticks?
No.
Were the other
Yeah.
three choices?
Loverboy, Foreigner, and REO Speedwagon.
REO Speedwagon?
No. Davis suggested he write stuff more like Foreigner and then
Interesting.
come back. Rabin says, I never did.
I'd sort of hoped it was Foreigner because I still have a deep affection for them since you bought their first album as your very first rock album.
Oh yeah.
And I love that album, even if I wouldn't even know anymore if it's terrible or not. I just love it. Um,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
but I was thinking, REO Speedwagon would have been more absurd and funnier, so that was interesting. And Styx, I was thinking about the opening of It Could Happen and thinking that that sounded a little bit Styxy, but I'm not sure that it does now. I don't think Styx
Mm,
ever used sitar.
not that I can think of, no.
Anyway,
Uh, of course, in 1983-84, MTV was really taking off, so several songs from this album had music videos. One of them actually had 18 different videos. Which song was it? A. Owner of a Lonely Heart. B. Changes. C. Leave It. D. Hold On.
I'm going to guess Leave It.
That's right. I remember
I've
this
seen a few of them.
pretty well. Yeah. MTV was dripping out all these different versions over a week or something.
Hmm.
Um, according to the research I did, MTV actually only received 15 of the 18. Apparently, there was also a marathon showing all 15 of them back to back
All
at
15
some
of the ones
point.
that MTV had.
Right. Most of the videos were pretty boring, which apparently was the point.
Well, they're
Um,
all just standing in front of a white background
well,
in the
yeah,
main
that
one anyway.
so yeah, the first version was just, well, of course they were all upside down.
Hmm.
Their first
Hmm.
version was just the band in black suits upside down singing the song and without moving very much even.
They're kind of in a line, aren't they? Like left to
Right,
right.
yeah, standing in a line. Another version showed the song's lyrics above their heads, or rather upside down below their upside down heads. Uh, Another I remember seeing back in '84 was an upside down pair of feet dancing. Uh, Another showed just John Anderson upside down. Everybody else was gone. In another, Anderson was gone, and there was an empty spot where he was supposed to be. The other band members were there. Uh,
Okay.
and I wrote up some more about other versions that I was able to find out about. But unfortunately, information on these videos is kind of limited. According to the YouTube channel Music Video Time, only number 11, which became the official video, was ever commercially available.
Hmm.
That one runs a lot of special effects on the upside down band members. It's surely the most interesting one.
Hmm.
Uh, but the others actually disappeared and they've never been released commercially. They've only been like glimpsed in old VHS recordings on archive.org and the like,
Huh.
including a tape of the documentary on MTV of the making of Leave It, which showed bits of some of the versions.
Hmm.
That that documentary also mentions that there was an April Fool's contest on MTV where you had to list the differences between all the various videos. The winner would get a VHS tape containing all 18 versions.
Well,
What
that would be
happened
a
to that?
valuable collector's item for someone.
Hmm. Uh, the video was directed by former 10cc members Kevin Godley and Lol Cream,
Hmm.
who had directed the acclaimed videos for The Police's Every Breath You Take and Herbie Hancock's Rocket. Which that I didn't know. I didn't know they were involved in it, but
No, I knew they were video makers, and then when Godley and Cream did the song "Cry" in the video,
right.
that was kind of a big media blitz.
But yeah, I'll go ahead with this anyway. So, what I was able to piece together, so I found a YouTube channel where someone is trying to collect versions as they kind of resurface,
Uh-huh.
and it has seven of them.
Okay.
One shows a different set of five guys in black suits. I guess one of them was like one of the record executives. That was version 8. Version 9, at the start, during the intro, pans around the studio right side up. And then it gets to the band members and they're upside down. And then it continues like version 1.
Mm.
Version 10 has the band members kind of swaying and moving more or less to the music. Version 18 is somewhat more interesting. After the usual upside down opening of the band members, a bunch of people carrying balloons come in and dance around the band. Uh, you can see some of those people and the balloons in version 9 when the camera pans around the studio.
You say that part of the point was for these to be boring. Can you say a
I
little more about that?
well,
At
what
least,
I
or is this an
gathered
assumption?
from the video on Music Video Time, which included some of the documentary. I didn't go back and watch the whole documentary on the other channel, but um, yeah, I mean, Godley and Cream are in it saying that, like, the band are just standing there upside down, as uninteresting as possible, or something like that.
Maybe just a parody of music videos by, doing
Well,
something very low key instead of the usual, extravaganza of light and
yeah,
color.
well, as a matter of fact, the Music Video Time voiceover person wonders if maybe Godley and Cream were trying to do a parody of music video, and the way that they talk about it in the documentary, it's hard to tell if they're being serious or if they're like trying to parody video producers. It's interesting.
It sounds kind of great.
So finally, Trevor Horn's production team, while working on this album, took a scrapped Alan White drum riff and sampled it into the Fairlight CMI sampler and turned it into what's known as the red and white mix of Owner of a Lonely Heart. This
Mhm.
led to the production team becoming a recording act in their own right. What was their group called? A. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. B. The Art of Noise. C. Living in a Box. D. Electronic.
I'm going to wildly guess Art of Noise.
That's right. Yes. And they went on to have 4 big hits in the UK. Close to the Edit, Peter Gunn featuring Dwayne Eddy,
Mm,
Paranoimia featuring Max Headroom, and a cover of Prince's Kiss as sung by Tom Jones.
that I have heard. That made the rounds on MTV in about 1988, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw it came out in 86, or maybe it was 88. It was, yeah, late 80s.
Yeah, I remember my roommate in college when I switched to University of Iowa. He loved that song, and then it would show up on MTV, and he'd say, "Oh, he's on," and it was, the video was Tom Jones being Tom Jones. Think I'm gonna dance now. Not very Princey, but very, very funny. Kind of a great. Well, I have a bit of trivia for you. It's about the
Okay.
Bangles. The Bangles have a new book out about their.
Mm.
It's an authorized biography with lots of the band, with lots of interviews with everybody except the bassist, whose name I can't remember, who quit the band after one of their reunions and just doesn't want to have anything to do with it anymore, which is kind of too bad because she sang a version of Big Star's September Girls on one of their albums. I think it was the same album with Manic Monday, and she does a great job. And I've heard her do it live because I love that song. So
Mm.
anyway, it's kind of too bad that she decided not to get involved. But so what Prince song was number two on the Billboard charts when Manic Monday was number one?
Oh, Kiss.
It was Kiss, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the irony is, do you know what the connection between Prince and the other connection between Prince and Manic Monday is?
Yeah, he wrote it.
He wrote it, and he also produced like full instrumental track for them to use if they wanted
Mm.
to, with no, with no vocals. They could just mix the vocals in, and they thanked him for it profusely, I imagine, and said, "Nope, we play our own tracks." Although I guess there's some question about, who actually played what on some of their tracks, but
Mm.
some songs, but they played it themselves more or less and ended up beating him out for first place. But anyway, that's something I just heard recently about the kind of Kiss and Manic Monday sharing the
Mm.
top couple of spots.
Yeah. Well, okay, more trivia. 3 years earlier, there was another case of the same songwriter having the top two songs on Billboard.
Hmm. 3 years earlier, that would have been what,
So
82?
83.
83.
Yeah,
Okay.
1983.
Ooh. Kenny Rogers? No,
No,
no, no. Lionel Richie.
no,
Hmm. Phil Collins?
no. Think Bombast.
Jim Steinman?
Yep. What were the songs?
Making love out of nothing at all and total
Hmm.
eclipse of my career. Mhm.
Yeah. That's right.
Actually, that was a huge hit. It wasn't the eclipse of anybody's career,
No.
until maybe when Meatloaf decided to do that track himself, or Jim Steinman, made him do it. It's kind of hard to tell who was in charge in that relationship, but I'm pretty sure it was Steinman.
Okay.
That's
Well, I
funny.
think
That's
I
funny.
think we're out of trivia for this time.
Oh,
So,
I'm sure I can come up with something else, but let's not.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah. Yeah, I need to come up with something for Bat Bits.
Yes, there's
But
no Batman flavor to this particular trivia recording, but
no.
nevertheless, I'm still wearing my shirt because I'm still on, Team Adam West.
Yeah. Okay. So, we'll see you sooner or later here on Patreon.
Bye.